Hey everyone, Razzbowski here, and welcome back to Theory Thursday. Unfortunately, it is Friday if you're watching it today, and that's because we had a couple of technical difficulties yesterday. Apologies for that, but we are back, and we are badder than ever, because we've got a brand new teaser on ScottGames.com in which it shows a possible gameplay mechanic with a button in the middle of the screen, and we have got in the background, hiding, lurking in the shadows, we've got 4 what appear to be mini-arenas. Guys, this is going to be hyped out the ass. Who have we got with me today?
You've got Ryan.
And other Ryan.
Okay.
Guys, if you're hyped for this episode, then please hit that like button. It really is appreciated. Let's shoot for 69 beautiful likes, and we'll jump straight in to the first subject.
So yes, the new teaser dropped on last Friday, I believe, while the lads are telling me that. So basically what we see is like a brightness little button and like a power button, which I don't really understand myself, because it's technically the same thing almost. But it's very, like I've said in previous videos, it's very weird that Scott would choose to show a game feature. So there's definitely something lurking about this photo. What do you guys think?
Well, the top button, which is, it shows what appears to be a light, I think that is going to actually turn on the stage lights. You see the ring lights, it's ring lit in a sort of semicircle around the top, and then you've got a row on the bottom, which is showing the floor of the stage. So that button there is going to be showing us it's going to turn the lights on, and I think in the darkness the animatronics are going to be moving forwards. It's like what's that game called? Is it red light, green light in America, and maybe Granny's Footsteps in the UK, where if one person is facing backwards, you turn around, and if you see somebody moving, then they go back to the first position. Well, I think it's going to work in a similar way. In the darkness, they're going to be creeping towards you like some kind of scary things. If you don't turn the light on in time, then baby, they're going to be up in your ass crack. However, if you turn the light on, it's going to scare them back to their stage, and that's why it says, get back on your stage now. As for the second button, obviously to balance the gameplay mechanic, you need to charge up the lights. You can't just keep spamming the light button, because that would be far too easy. So I think the second button is some kind of charge to limit the amount of uses for the lights.
It's kind of like the fun with plus trap mechanic, where
you
turn on the light and you scurry them back. It's interesting. I don't know about this feature on here, but I don't know how it's going to fit in with like what you just said, Raz. If it's like where you have to stay there to keep pushing them back, how it's going to fit in with the other mechanics around the game. Like if we just have to stay there, is it going to be one of these night mini games where like the fun with plus trap, where it's on a, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I guess.
Or it could be Scott could be doing different nights as a different mechanic or something, because it would either have to be where you're in the office and you see something move or something on the stage, and you go there and you put them back, because I don't really see ourselves just staying at that position and turning on the stage light and then doing the power. Unless it is, but it's cool, and I like this mechanic. Like, it reminds me again of just the normal FNAF game mechanics, where you keep the light on and you use the power mechanic. So yeah,
that's what it reminded me of, like the button on the top with the brightness, and then you've got like the power on the bottom. It's almost like the FNAF 1 panel that we used to have. We had the light and then shutting the door, so it's kind of like maybe it'll work in a similar style to that. Again, the only thing I thought as well was like you've got to keep kind of going back to this camera, turning the maybe the lights on for like 15 or so seconds, and maybe that will freeze them. But if the light's off for too long, then maybe they will start moving. But then again, it's like 4 of these guys again, you know, with the BIDYBABs and the 4 on stage. I don't think Scott's really going to put this many in. He did say he had a lot of tricks up his sleeve in terms of like new game mechanics and stuff like that. But I think at the same time, it's got to be a little bit simplistic, for the simple fact of we can't deal with 15 animatronics like all moving around. What Dorko's game said as well about the whole idea of these guys being like a mini game system, I think that makes the most sense. I'd never really considered it that way, because we had like the fun with plush trap thing, exactly what he said, and that makes sense for this. Actually, it really does.
Yeah, I was thinking that, because obviously from the trailer there's so much going on. Like I mean, there's like 3 separate rooms at least, probably, if this is included as a room, which I don't. I think you are right. I think this is going to be a mini game, because it's set up in a way that looks like a mini game almost. But I don't know, that like you say, that there's so much going on that it'll just be impossible to focus on everything at once. I mean, FNAF 2, I remember when that first came out, it was a massive difference from the first one, because I think it was...
We didn't have doors, did we,
exactly.
for God's sake?
When we first introduced to the whole idea of like 2 animatronics at once coming at you kind of from the same hallway, and I don't know. I think if he's going to go with that kind of route, like he did with FNAF 2, like multiple animatronics coming at you at once, it will really make the game, I guess, more replayable. Because after you get used to the mechanics, it's like you kind of just go through the game, if you know what I mean. You can whiz straight through it. But yeah, if he introduces something different, that'll be cool.
Right, if just one point, because we're talking about how many animatronics there are, and obviously we've got a new 4 here, we've got 7 with the Bidybabs, etc. There are a lot of animatronics, but if we remember the source code a while ago, and I think it actually still is in the source code, it actually gives us days of the weeks and available or in maintenance, etc. Maybe we can go back to this and Scott will add on to it at some point. So he's telling us in different nights, different animatronics are going to be available to you, so you're going to have to use different tactics each night. So maybe we're not going to have to deal with them all at once. There are going to be a huge amount of animatronics in the game, but we're only ever going to have to deal with, say, a pack of them at once. Maybe Baby and our Bidybabs, or Ballora and the Minireenas, or the Funtime characters. We're going to have to only deal with, say, 2 of the little parties at once. So as the nights go on, maybe we have to deal with 3 different ones, 4 different ones, 5 different ones, etc. So it's gonna be it's not gonna be all coming at once until some sort of secret Easter egg ultimate hard difficulty. So he does have scope for lots of things and lots of different rooms, and it's gonna be interesting, definitely.
Yeah, or it could be what we said about the Bidybabs, is maybe just one of the Minireenas is active.
Yeah, that's true.
Not just all of them.
Yep. A final thing as well I just want to put in there, which doesn't really have an answer, but the fact that it shows 4 of these characters and it says get back on your stage now, I mean, one might be missing. That might be Ballora who's actually missing, and the Minireenas might be stationary. So again, this might just be like a set dressing thing, but that's just another thing to think about.
Next up, we're going to be discussing how the Balloras and these brand new Minireenas could tie in together with possible gameplay mechanics and maybe even some lore. So with these Minireenas, obviously, we're assuming that they're going to be smaller than Ballora itself, maybe kind of like the Bidybabs are to Baby, but Ballora's eyes are always closed in the trailer, so the common theory at the moment is, are the Minireenas going to be Ballora's eyesight? Are they going to be functioning as her security cameras, if you will, and they will actually locate her, and she won't attack until one of them physically sees us and she knows where to go?
Yeah, that would be cool, like, you have to keep them away from you. Like, let's say one of them gets into the office and then they just stare you down. They don't attack you, they just stare at you in the office really creepily until Ballora comes along and just wrecks you.
Man.
Yeah. That'd be really cool. Or it could be like one of them's in the office and they just stare you down, but you just hear like Foxy's run, like,
yeah, okay.
and you just hear it just come charging at you. That would be really cool and creepy. And again, a new mechanic.
That's really interesting. Like, I was just starting to think from the things you guys are saying as well. If you look on the Ballora as well, she's got like these little bells on her.
Yes.
Yeah.
So what about if these 4 guys, there's like, you know, there's corridors, maybe straight down corridors, maybe, for all we know, where this room is situated, there might be exactly 4 different turns that Ballora has to take in order to kind of get to the office. Like, at the end of each door, there might be a space where each of these guys will kind of run to the end. Because, of course, Ballora's eyes are always closed. They might ring their sort of the bells on their Ballorina, whatever you'd call them, the kind of tutus. And then Ballora might go to that. So maybe you've got Ballora has like a 4-step thing, and it's like, wherever they ring, just because she kind of goes to. That could work for the Minireenas.
Kind of like Springtrap's mechanic, where you hear babies laughing, talk, and then Springtrap goes to that place.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, I guess we are all jumping the gun a little bit too soon, because I don't know, because we thought that, I think in a previous teaser, we thought a certain animatronic was a certain animatronic, if that makes sense, and it turns out like I think it was Enad or something like that.
Bit of a mind bend for that one, but
yeah, but basically, I don't know, maybe. It's a hard one, because if this is a minigame, who's like you can do anything within a minigame, like, surely, because it could be like a FNAF world for all we know, that kind of style. Like, if it's going to be like a little in between nights thing, you can do anything with it. It could be like I don't know. I don't really want to jump the gun to say that these are Minireenas. That obviously I know where you're coming from. That they're very small, but they could also just be right in the distance. I don't know. This could just be like counterparts of the original Ballora. Sorry, but. I don't know if these are Minireenas. I do like the idea that they do work as her eyes, and they probably sabotage some equipment to make life a bit more harder for you, and for her to actually come and kill you. But what will be interesting is her actual jump scare. I think that would be interesting, because I mean, she looks terrifying now. If her eyes were to open,
Exactly.
that would just do it.
I remember a few weeks ago or last week when we was talking about BIDYBAB, Raz said a really good point about them. Though the small ones are the only ones who are able to get into the vents. And now that I think more about that, maybe that's true. Like the big animatronics can't get in the vents, but they're just blockades, so you can't get into the other room or something to stop something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
So it goes back to the fact that they're being a nuisance again, rather than the little ones are actually getting you. Because it would be interesting to see if they both are smaller. As other Ryan was saying there, we can't actually check the height of these guys because they're off in the distance and we don't have any comparison. Ballora might be there for all we know, or these might not even be Minireenas. Again, we're just speculating at this point, but it does seem to fit quite nicely hand in hand. We've got Ballora and Minireena put it together as Ballorina. So the names themselves kind of fit in suggestively. It's the same with Ennard and the pun for innards. It's just like it all is quite cleverly fitting together, which is quite nice to see. And as you were saying, I think Ballora's going to be the scariest one as well. From a distance, she looks nice. She's all very graceful and poignant and something. It's stereotypically quite pleasant to view. Ballerinas are graceful, but then you have a look in the trailer and you can actually see a wee glimpse of her teeth, which are absolutely terrifying. Yeah. And we haven't seen her eyes yet, which it could probably equally be just as terrifying. We have no idea what kind of eyes she has under there. She might have no eyes under there for all we know, and she just lifts the eyelids when she comes in our grill with those big ass teeth, and that's the last thing we see as we get plunged into the depths of hell.
So a lot of people in the community have been suggesting that these Minireenas actually spell baby in their arm poses. So I don't think it does. I completely disagree with it, but what do you guys think?
Yeah, I think it's a prime example of the community looking way too much into something that probably signifies nothing more than ballerinas doing their different poses. Yeah. Me personally, again, I don't think so. The kind of poses they're making, I mean, that would be too cryptic. And also, we've already got like a direct connection between Baby and the BIDYBAB. So why Baby would also be controlling these guys as well? It wouldn't really make too sense. I just think I think maybe it's an idea that's gone a little bit too out of hand, I think. And it's, I mean, we're an active community. We always want to find this stuff. But on this occasion, even though, I kind of see where people are coming from, no, not for me, no.
Yeah, I think if it was the case that it was spelling baby, the first and the third one would look exactly the same, but they don't, so... I don't know, like you say, people try and look for things that aren't there because, I mean, in a way it's Scott's own fault because of the way he he puts things in like such crypticness, if you will. But no, I just think it's just what's the word? It's like a set prop kind of thing. That's just there to make the thing look good. Almost.
Yeah, to make it look like everything's moving sort of in the background. Everything's not just stationary. Everything looks. It gives the image more life, pretty much.
More depth.
Yeah, right. I think that's the purpose for it.
Yeah, I think so as well. As you said, we're all very good at looking into all these little hidden secrets that Scott's is adding into them, and the idea of Baby being in it, as you were saying, Ryan, it doesn't seem quite in place. We already kind of know that Baby's going to be the front and center figure of all this, maybe the Freddy Fazbear of the establishment, if you will. And having Baby here just doesn't quite tie into it. As other Ryan said, the first B and the second B should be the same, or the second one should be a lowercase b if you were going to have them differently, and it just doesn't work that way. I love that everybody's looking into these in so much detail, but I don't think so. As for the ballet poses themselves, I don't know anything about ballet, so I couldn't tell you what poses these are. Maybe there's some significance in there. I think I do remember somebody over on Reddit trying to break it down, because I think they knew ballet because they studied it, and I think they actually came up with the thing that there's no significance there either. But hey, at the end of the day, maybe Scott is hiding something in these teasers that we don't yet know about. I think a lot of people wanted more cryptic things coming along, because we did have just character reveal after character reveal, and people wanted the original Scott Games teasers, ones that we had to brighten up and look into more. But I think the characters in the background are good enough secrets, and maybe we'll see them in full view at some point in the future, maybe in a trailer too. Well, there we go, ladies and gentlemen, that was another Theory Thursday. Hopefully you did enjoy it. If you did, then please hit that like button. It really is appreciated. We're very hyped to see what happens with the Sister Location next, so if you have any of your own theories pop them down in the comment section below, because we absolutely love reading them. Remember to go and check out all the other guys' channels down in the description below. Remember, Ryan and other Ryan actually have their individual channels just now, in which all these guys do fantastic work. But either way, guys, I've been Razzbowski, you've been the beautiful bastards, as always, for watching, and I love each and every single one of you. Goodbye!